All right, I'm going to show you guys how to wet install a windshield banner. Start to finish, no edits. It's really easy. Clean the window off with rubbing alcohol. You can get it at Walmart for like 97 cents for a little bottle. Get some tape, doesn't really matter what kind of tape. I like painter's tape. You want to tape off the trim on the sides and the top of the window. That way the banner doesn't stick to it while you're doing the install. Nothing needs to be perfect, just kind of get it mostly covered up. This isn't 100% necessary if you don't have tape, but makes it easier, less chance for mistakes. You can use a measuring tape to make sure you find the exact center of the window. You're probably smart enough to know how to do that, measure from one side to the other and see where the center is. But most windows have pretty clear distinguishing mounting point for the rear view mirror, so you can tell where the center is. If you need to measure your banner to find out where the center of the graphic is to line it up, go ahead and do that. Since this will be covered up and I won't be able to use it as a reference once I start putting the banner on the window, I just take a piece of tape and mark the center a few inches below where the bottom of the banner will be. If you have a friend, it'll be a little easier, but doing it by yourself should be no problem too. All right, I know where the middle of the sun is. It's pretty obvious. As far as making sure that it's level from side to side, I usually just find the point where the two pieces of trim meet above the glass on both sides of the window, and I put the top of the banner there. Bring it over just a little. If you want to use a measuring tape to get things exactly right, that's fine, but on a 4.5 foot wide window, no one's going to notice if you're a couple millimeters off. But like I said, that's up to you. I'm just showing you the quick and dirty way to get it done, and no one's going to notice if it's off by just a tiny bit. All right, banner's in place where I want it. Put some tape on both sides to tack it down so that when you're lifting up the other end, if you don't have a helper, the other side won't fall off. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so I got a bottle of water, full bottle of water with 1 drop of dish soap or baby soap, whatever you have on hand, doesn't matter. 1 drop. If you do more than that, it's going to take longer for the banner to set up. So what I like to do when I'm doing this by myself, put a piece of tape a little bit past the center. Felt head squeegee, you can get these for like $2 at any sign supply shop where you live. Take this hinge off. Spray the window with the soapy water. Don't set the backing paper down on that because it'll get soggy really fast and it'll come off in chunks and weird stuff will happen. You don't want it. You don't want it to happen like that. All right. I like to spray the vinyl as well, just in case the wind hits it and it flies out of my hand or something silly like that. Better safe than sorry. You can't use too much water, so go nuts. Pull it kind of tight. Line it up where you wanted it. Take my hinges off over here. Pull this up. go, everything's nice and wet. Pull it nice and tight. Bring it down to where you want it up here to keep everything level. Once I pull that side tight, I like to come back to the other side, pull it tight too, which makes less work for yourself when you start squeegeeing out the bubbles. You want to do most of the work in the pulling, and then all you're really doing with the squeegee is the last step, the last part of getting everything unwrinkled. So I like to spray it with a little bit of soapy water just so the squeegee glides easier, makes less scratches on the vinyl, especially if it's a dark color like matte black. And I like to squeegee from about the middle vertically and also the middle horizontally out to the edges. That way you're not trapping wrinkles in the center. Press really hard. Overlapping strokes to make sure you're not missing any water and bubbles. And always make sure that you're dragging the squeegee across like this, not digging into it. Because sometimes you'll end up bunching up the vinyl and you'll get a crease, and even if you get it out, there'll always be this little line. You'll be able to see it from inside the car and outside the car. Just bad times. Once you get to the edges, you want to lift it up to take the tension off. And then you can work the sides and corner in. I like to flip around to the hard side of the squeegee to do the edges so you can really get it tucked up against the trim. But don't use it for the whole thing because you'll scratch it up. You might not notice the scratches right away, but on a light color like white, dirt will kind of get caught inside the scratches. So down the road you'll notice if you don't use the soft side for most of it. All right, take the slack off. Work the side and the corner in. It's kind of cold here this morning, so this isn't going to cure all the way instantly. So the corner kind of going to want to lift up, but I'm just going to go ahead and trim it like that anyway because I've done it 1,000 times. At this point, if the corners aren't sticking very good, you might want to roll it out into the sun, let things set up a little bit. I had my razor and now I can't find it. There it is. All right, just push your blade up nice and tight against the trim, and it will guide the blade for you. Right to the corner. And then I like to start at the bottom and cut my way up to the corner. Boom. Take this tape off, won't need that anymore. Some windshields don't even have trim at the top. It just goes straight to the edge of the glass. Most new Subarus are like that. I like doing installs on those because it's so easy. And there's no risk of accidentally cutting the trim on a customer's car or anything like that. All right, it's all trimmed up. Take off the tape. Now that there's no tension on the corners, you should be able to tuck them in there. Sometimes you gotta go back over and get little uneven edges off like that. Like use the hard side just to make sure everything's really pressed up against the edge good, so no dirt and other contaminants can get in there once you start driving around. Boom. That's it. That's how you install a windshield banner by yourself. Pretty freaking easy if you ask me. Yeah, I've done it a lot of times, but the first time I did it by myself, it really didn't take much longer. There it is, nice and centered. That took a little over 11 minutes total with narrating. Piece of cake.